Hey Angie, it's Heather and Spencer here with your economic update and forecast. Through all of the indicators, it is easy to see that moving your business to the U.S. is a smart idea.
First, let's start with the gross domestic product. Gross domestic product, or GDP, refers to the market value of all recognized final goods and services produced within a country at any given point in time. Looking at this first chart, we can see that the United States GDP increased in the first quarter of 2012 by 2.2% according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. We like to see it increase by a 2 to 4% each quarter, so this is a good sign. Based on GDP rates since the downfall in 2008 and 2009, the U.S. has had a little trouble gaining a consistent GDP growth rate, whether it was increasing too rapidly in 2010 or too slowly in 2011. The inconsistency raises questions about whether or not it is a good time to transfer your business. Looking into the future, it seems as if the GDP growth rate will stay consistent. The data shows trends that the GDP percent change is becoming more stable.
Looking at this graph, you can see that the Consumer Price Index, CPI, or inflation rate, is decreasing. This will continue falling, so by investing while the inflation rate is low, you will be able to save money. To understand this graph, you first need to understand CPI and inflation. CPI looks to see if prices are increasing or decreasing. In other words, CPI monitors inflation and deflation of the value of the dollar. Although the inflation rate is decreasing, it will eventually rise again. So by investing at a low rate before an increase in inflation rates, you won't have to pay back the full value. However, the dollar amount will remain the same. The dollar value decreases as inflation increases, so your investment is less in value and easier to pay off even though the value or the dollar amount is the same. Inflation affects the national economy because we trade with other countries and inflation changes the currency rate. I think inflation will continue to rise at a slow pace because that has been the overall pattern over the past couple of years.
Unemployment is the next indicator we will consider. Unemployment occurs when someone is out of a job and has been searching for one for over 4 weeks. The unemployment rate, then, is the total number of people unemployed divided by all individuals currently in the labor force. In the past month, the United States unemployment rate has dropped to 8.1%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. For the past 50 years, the average unemployment rate in the U.S. has been around 5.7%. In the late 2008s, early 2009, we can see that the unemployment rate shot up and peaked at just over 10%. It is now slowly working its way back down to the average of 5.7%. By looking at the trends of the graphs, the unemployment rate should continue to drop slowly within the next year. Right now is a perfect time for you to move your business to the U.S. because there are many hardworking people seeking employment. Important indicator.
Now that we're looking at aggregate demand and aggregate supply, it's important to know what they are. Aggregate supply is the overall output produced in any given year in an economy. Aggregate demand is the overall demand of an economy. This is important to the economy because it helps you understand how a single factor can change so much in the economy, so it tells you which factors are shifting. Over the next couple of years, Obamacare will come into effect, and that will cause the demand to increase, which will cause aggregate demand to increase as well. This will then increase the demand for your nutritional supplements. So by moving your business to the U.S., you'll be able to increase your demand, which will increase your profit.